My husband called me from Japan. Vacation home? Well, whatever we bought it.
You bought it?
I have no idea what he is talking about. A vacation home in the US. Sure. Vacation home in Japan. I don't know what they are thinking. Has my husband lost his mind since retirement age? My name is Olivia. I'm 52 years old. I work for a brokerage firm. I have loved money since I was a lit. Watching the balance in my bank account slowly increase is a moment of bliss. When I tell my friends how much I love it, I get a lot of stares from them. Even as an adult, my love of saving has changed. And I have been steadily saving money while working. I have increased my savings by investing them. Of course, there have been some failures. But I am proud to say that I have been steadily building up my assets. My husband, Lucas, is a government. He is careless with money, but he is type to waste it. Since we got married, we have been putting our spare money together. Finally, we reached the 1 million. I always dreamed of being a writer, but I never thought it would happen. I am so happy that I could really act. As I rejoiced that my dream had come, husband said to me,
Your dream was not to buy luxury, to go on a vacation. To help you reach your savings goals, we offer a range of accounts that can be tailored to suit your needs.
He said this looking dumbfounded.
I could not have achieved this on my own.
I said, expressing my gratitude. This year, my husband, who is 8 older than me, he reached retirement age. We have 1 million in savings to ensure prosperous retirement. I really wanted to achieve it before my husband's retirement. Thanks to this, my husband's retirement will be his reward for all the hard work he has done. He can spend it as he likes. My husband has worked diligently and many years. From now on, I would like him to take a time out of his schedule and challenging him to do something he hasn't done in the past. My husband was also considering taking the plunge and doing a variety of things in retirement. He decided to take his parents on a Japan to repay them for their help in raising children.
That's great. Your parents will be happy. They helped me a lot when our kid's young. It's a good chance to repay the favor. Can you take me and my parents with...
I asked him.
No, you have a job to do. I'm sure your parents have to tend to.
He dismissed me with a tone that mocked my parents' family, who are immigrants. To be honest, my husband doesn't think well of my parents, who are farmers in the countryside. It has been like this since the time married, so there is nothing I can at now. He has always liked to make fun of parents. Since my husband refused to take us on the trip, I ended up staying at home. Well, I certainly have to work, but it's so hard to take a 10-day vacation. Unfortunately, I gave up this time. For my in-laws, this will be their first trip abroad. The 3 of them were so excited are the preparation stage of the trip. They were asking what to bring. What is the dress code for dinner at the restaurant? On the phone, I'm not sure if it was a man or woman, but they were very polite and helpful. I spent my time as usual, thinking envious I was that they were having fun. I feel like I'm being left out of things, and I'm starting to feel a little sad. My husband and his parents stayed in luxury hotel suites as recommended by a travel agency. They are also going on a cruise that takes them on a tour of Japan's culinary delights. I'm wondering how much the total will be. I told my husband he could spend his retirement money however he wanted. I thought to myself while trying to down, but when I heard their happy voices phone, every night I couldn't help but say a sarcastic remark to them. I try to remain calm. I don't want to get into a fight, bet, leave. And the day finally came for them to... I took the 3 of them to the airport. I was asked to drive them there like the obvious thing to do. I asked them why they don't take A then.
You have no kindness for my parents, terrible.
What Lucas said to me was, I'm not going to let you go. So I ended up dropping them off at the airport. It told me that I couldn't take them because I had to work. I was a bit mortified that they would take time off work to pick them up from me on the way there, contrary to the three of them who were excited to leave. I felt more and more alone. My husband did not notice at all. When we arrived at the airport, the in-laws with their luggage were checking in. Finally, I was able to see them off. I was relieved to think that I would be able to live quietly for a while. They arrived in Japan safely and sent a happy report with pictures. Their hotel room was luxurious, with Kyoto's diamond characters in front living room, and even a dining room. I wonder how much it costs per night. As I was reading the report, they asked me,
Did you see the pictures? Isn't it a room?
My husband called me up with pride, said,
How much money are you going to spend on your wedding?
Don't you think you are getting carried away? My husband was instantly in a bad mood.
It's my money. I can do what I want. I'm having fun, and you're just talking nonsense. Read the atmosphere.
He hung up the phone, and I never heard from him again. 10 days later, my husband and in-laws returned home after the trip as planned. I picked them up at the airport. They didn't like the fact that I was parked in a temporary parking space near the arrival gate. All three of them did not speak at car. What is this? I had to adjust my work schedule to pick them up. But this attitude is unacceptable. I'm not their chauffeur. I drove on, frustrated. When I got home, my husband's complaint started again.
What the hell do you think You lowered my spirits during the trip by saying stupid things. You didn't even pick us up properly. Don't get carried away.
What? You're the one who's carried. I did come pick you up. Why do I have to park the car and go to the arrival gate? You're not a child. Don't be ridiculous.
I'm just soaking up the feeling of accomplishment after all the work I'm worried about my future if my wife doesn't have a shred of respect for me.
With these words, my husband retreated to his room.
What? Why is it my fault? What do you mean the future? I'm the one who should be worried.
I was so angry that I couldn't sleep. After that, I couldn't do any work for a while. So, after 2 weeks of not talking husband,
He said, I'm going to Japan tomorrow. Please take me to the airport in the morning. What? Japan? Tomorrow?
my husband is leaving for Japan with my in-laws, and I am confused. And my in-laws are accompanying him. I have nothing but questions about my husband's mysterious behavior. And they use me as a driver again. My in-laws did not even say thank you. How in the world am I being treated? I want to take my parents with me. From the very beginning of our marriage, my husband has not thought highly of my family who live in the countryside. When he came to my parents' house to meet them, my husband, who grew up in the city, was surprised at how old the house was. On the way home, after receiving my blessing to marry, he said to me,
Saw your mother's sunburned face unbelievable.
He said, his mother is a city madam who is passionate about beauty and never misses a beauty or beauty treatment appointment. I was sad that my mother was being compared to a person, as my mother had worked so hard.
You should get her to look a little for the wedding 11.
My husband said, I remember taking you to beauty salons and beauty parlors in a hurry. I am glad that my mother was so happy to be treated like a princess. But then I remember the bad times. My husband speaks ill of my mother, think that my husband's parents are arrogant. I can't really say that to them though. Every year since we got married, we invited my in-laws to dinner on Mother's Day, Father's Day, and birthdays. At first, they were grateful, but now they are demanding more. They ask for what they want to eat without hesitation. In addition to that, this trip to Japan, I wanted to have dinner with my parents as well, but my husband didn't take it well.
He told me you should not be so at your parents when you married me.
So my dreams stayed unfulfilled. I secretly sent flowers to my parents. My husband didn't notice. My parents are just happy that he's well taken care of. They tell me not to worry about them. Whenever I call my parents, I make sure my husband doesn't see me. I feel that I am putting a burden on parents. When I apologize for the inconvenience, please let me know how we can make it right.
Don't worry about it. That's what happens when you get married.
But my parents are old. I would like to express my gratitude, but it's not going as smoothly as I wish. Well, my husband left me alone and to Japan for the second time. I later learned that during the FIRS local tour, Guide introduced a real estate agent, husband, and his parents who were interested in Japan and wanted to live there. My husband got carried away. He told them that he had a lot of Mo savings and retirement, if I feel that he might have been successful. So the real estate agent and the tot took them for a ride. I think he was preparing to buy a present, opening a bank account at a local bank before your trip. Once he was ready, he returned to Jabalpur, transferred the funds from the bankrupt company. I wish he has consulted me at that stage, even if it was just for a few words. It's a matter of hindsight, isn't it? 2 days after he left for Japan, for second time, I received a call from my husband. I didn't think it was a good call from my husband who left with such an attitude. Answered the phone briskly.
What's with your voice? Are you mad?
Of course I am. What do you need help with?
I need you to transfer some money account I'm about to give you. I need 100 urgently.
What? 100? What even is this bank?
The Japanese bank. The broker's commission for buying the villa was more than I expected.
I was completely overwhelmed by all of this information. I couldn't think of anything else to. I wonder if elderly people who get bank transfer scams are like this. At any rate, I thought he might not to come home without the money, so to do as my husband said. I tried to follow the procedure as told me, but when I saw the balance in my savings account, my eyes went completely blank.
Wait a minute. Why?
The 1 million that I had worked so save had been wiped out. Now it was showing almost zero balance. I checked my account history and found all transactions. My mutual funds and stocks the funds had been transferred to a Japanese bank where I was about to withdraw the money. Was my husband's temporary return for this procedure? Without consulting me, I will never forgive him for this. They were able to successfully purchase an estate with the money I deposited. My husband returned home with great satisfaction. I urged him to sit on the sofa.
What is this Japanese villa? What did we do with the money we saved together?
I asked, holding back the urge to yee him. My husband seemed completely oblivious to my anger. He was still in a good mood.
Think of all the fun we'll have when old and can go to Japan anytime we want. You have something to look forward to? Let's go together next time.
What are you talking about so carefree, as if you think I'm just gonna...
I was so confused about what to say. Tears just started to well up.
I'm sorry, it was selfish of me. But why don't you go with me we can leave over there if you want.
No matter what I blamed them for, there was nothing it could do about the money gone and the real estate that remained. Why am I going through this? Every time I thought about it, I felt depressed, and I was getting more depressed day by day. I decided to break it off as much as so that I would not have to go on one. After that, My husband started going once every 2 months. I thought maybe he was having an aft, looked into it. Apparently, he goes with his parent time. The first summer after purchasing the vacation home is approaching.
I want to take my parents to Japan long vacation.
What? You want to go? With your part? Japan doesn't suit country people. My parents and I are going on a cruise vacation, so we don't have a room in the first place.
Since you spent my money, I have the right to use the villa, don't I?
What do you mean, my money? Your parents are strangers to me, too. That's why I won't let you take them and why I won't let you use it.
By blood, what are you talking about? Well, I'm not connected to your pair blood. Does that mean I can't go?
I guess that's what it means.
I see. That's how you thought it was. So, my parents and I are strangers to.
That's an obvious fact.
How could he say such a terrible thing with that goofy smile on his face? My body was shaking with anger.
What? Try to do whatever you want, care.
You said it. I'll do it. Just watch.
I immediately applied for a paid leave of absence while my husband was in Japan. I sold my and my husband's cars, packed up our belongings, and left home. Since both cars were in my name, it was easy to get rid of them. But since the loan was in my name, it was more difficult. Husband's name. There was nothing I could do to help him. So I changed the locks on the house. Now my husband cannot enter the house he returned from Japan. As expected, I received a phone call, husband.
Hey, Olivia. Where are you right now? I can't unlock the door. Let me in.
No, it's not broken. I have all the new keys and I'm never going back there again. After spending our money all over the world, we decided to settle down in a small town. I'm divorcing you, who said that we strangers, since we are not connected by blood.
What? Wait a minute, I can't understand.
Just as I planned, he's confused. This is what you get. It makes me laugh.
I'll be contacting you through my. Don't try to call my personal phone goodbye.
I hang up the phone and my husband, calling me repeatedly, but I ignored him. He couldn't get into the house and had nowhere to go, so he ran to his parents' house. He is a small man to go back to his house at a time like this, instead to a hotel or something. This time, my in-laws started calling me, but of course, I ignored it. They were too persistent, so I turned off my phone. Later, the lawyer I hired contacted my husband. The content was a declaration of divorce and a request for alimony. The main reason for the divorce was that she had spent most of the $1 million in joint property without his permission. My desired terms are that the remaining deposit and the money from the disposal of the house be mine. Alimony is paid to me. My husband did not accept these terms, so we had to go through divorce mediation. As a result of the mediation, my husband accepted the divorce and agreed to pay alimony. In fact, my husband has reached retirement age, but he is not yet old enough to receive a pension. He did not even apply for an advance. He was caught off guard because I was working while his own income had not yet come in. Did he let his guard down? Did having a pension and a deposit make him too foolish? He had planned to take it easy until he received his pension. This was after he had turned down a job offer from his workplace. He lost his savings, his house, and my husband's own possessions were zero. With no job and no income, my husband pays alimony to me. My husband seems to have become increasingly unstable. He is treated as a burden by his paravent, though they readily accepted his hospitality when he took them out for meals or drinks. I think it's terrible that they treat them like a burden, but I guess it is like childlike pet. The problem is the Japanese villain. According to the lawyer, There are few monthly maintenance fees. It has a large floor plan and a shared courtyard. They need almost $50,000 a month in maintenance fees. Nowadays, the villa is a vacation home that we can't afford to go. To pay for the upkeep, my 60-year-old works day and night at a factory job. Even if he wanted to give up the vice, it would cost a lot of money to go there and set up an intermediary. It costs a lot of money, so there's six no way to get out of it. The debt seems to be mounting little by little. They're getting to the point where they'll have to let go of their in-laws soon. They deserve it, don't they? As for me, most of the money I've saved so far spent, but to tell the truth, when I had reached the age of 18, I was already a professional musician. I lost sight of some of my goals. Tam is 8 years younger than my husband, but she still has a job. Since I divorced my husband and now alone, my living expenses are much. I have more money to invest. I am looking forward to seeing how increase from my current balance to retirement age, combined with the money from the sale of my home. I am going to try my best to buy a small house in Hawaii when I retire. My parents have never been able to travel much because of the farm, and I want to spend their retirement in Hawaii. I am now looking into properties. I have been working all my life, so be happy to spend the second half one with my parents and me alone.